gonna start recording that.
Whenever we play, I feel like it's kind of close, but then I just get, like, edged out just a little bit. Like, most of our games, it's either, like, last stock, or I'm just, like, dropping easy shit, and then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like, I felt watching. But, yeah, I'm just setting up a save state real quick for the, just some edge-going stuff, because I think that was one thing that I really wanted to I noticed that I think would have... What the heck? How is it doing this? Okay, either way. That sets it up. But yeah. So like you said, your goal is basically to just consistently start beating people, or at least start punching up a little bit harder on the higher end of the PR, like Mellow, Grave, etc.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, consistently beating people under you. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to, like, go over just the Fox game plan, or do you want to just go over general game plan? Because I feel like Fox seems to be, like, kind of the matchup, or spaces in general seem to be, like, the matchups you want to focus on within your region, given your goals.
Yeah, it's like, it's weird because it's like, I'm terrible. I'm not terrible. I'm like, they feel the worst, and they feel like the least amount. I get the most practice, but I feel like I'm the worst at those two, like Fox Falco. But then there's like no Sheiks in my region. There's no Peaches. There's like a couple Marths. And so it's like, I feel like I'm okay at those because those game plans are a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah, I think the big thing, honestly, that catches every Falcon off in these matchups is, it really is just it comes down to, like, Sheik, Peach, Marth. I'm surprised you said Sheik felt more comfortable because I personally hate the Sheik matchup. But, again, I think that's kind of indicative of, like, what the struggle here is. It's that those matchups are much less suffocating than Spaceys are.
Yeah.
And that's what I've noticed, because I already watched the set over that you played. But here, it's like this last stock that you play near the end is that you're just in the Fox Vortex. And it's incredibly hard to get out of the Fox Vortex, like right here. Zapwad gets a little bit of pressure going, and then they keep throwing out aerials, and it's really, really hard to catch him just because he's so small. Falco, it's a little easier to get out of the pressure since he's bigger, and oftentimes your hitboxes can nick him just a little bit more. But, learning how to play out of disadvantage is one of the hardest things in the matchup, and I personally struggle with it a lot. Though I do think you have some pretty good plays when the Fox isn't, like, just hammering it down on the control stick or on the sticks. And I think a big thing that can help you right off the bat is a player like Wizrobe is not the type to outspeed every single Fox all the time. Players like Johnny, Salt, None, they are insanely technical, having played all of them. They are, like, the fastest players to ever play the game. And they will just... they're able to consistently react just because they play all the time, or at least they're very prone to, like, and they have so much experience. Like, in the case of Nunn's just so good at, like, knowing people's, like, where they're going and how they're going to play. Johnny just, like, he played Mango, freaking Alex 19 Lucky, the most aggressive players of all time. So they know how to play those defensive situations really well and to get reversals. But players like we're not as fast as that. Or at least we don't have that. Like, it's not sustainable all the time, and if you watch them too, they really have, when they're on their back foot, they just get cooked. Like no, like nowadays, like all the foxes are so goddamn fast that they're just cooking Johnny and None. Like Free Balloon Day versus Gatsu. I saw that set at Tipped Off. It was just like, damn, I could not see Gatsu getting out of that pressure. Even though Gatsu is like one of the more, like he's crazy with his defense, but. I think watching when players like Wizzy do in situations like this is that you don't have much of an option beyond just like forcing the fox to make a really hard read. So like, imagine you're playing against a fox and they're just like wailing on you, they're just like directly going at you without thinking. A big thing to just beat that is just a triple roll into like center or the corner. Even though Falcon doesn't have the best roll, learning to roll and use your actual in-game defensive techniques is really, really important. I wonder if I have a set for this. There's like a couple clips of like Johnny versus, or you could probably just go to any S2J set versus like Lucky or Meds. Like, I believe he does lose, but when he does like someone gets on his shield or something like that, or he's in the vortex, he's just out of there. Like there, you see he rolls and he gentlemans to like basically get as much or abuse Falcon's frame data as possible. Because Falcon, like, he's really not good in the air, especially if you're trying to do like an immediate aerial, an immediate move. It's really hard to get anything going because a lot of the times Fox just beats this out with nair. And I saw you doing a lot of dash back, and I thought that was good. But that's only if you have like good frame advantage. And I think that works a bit better versus like Falco, Marth, and Sheik, since they're not as fast as Fox and can burst up and like are hard to hit. With Fox is kind of just like a tiny like meteorite hitbox, because this guy can just like run up. And another thing is that like he can run up, he can do this kind of instant leffen back off nair, and that kind of just destroys you going to the corner, because you got hit by this quite a bit. Like you would try to set up a back air like this, or like a Wizzy Stomp, and then this nair just kind of so hard to beat. So stuff like this, you kind of just have to accept that you're at a loss and either bait with like this kind of shield or cross up, or just get out of there. Really, and then just try and force a reset to neutral. And then you have to play the mix-up after, because if you're too predictable with it, they start reading you. But then at least you're playing a mix-up. So this will lead me into my second point, which is learning to be super clean out of shield. Okay, let me just... Yeah. Forcing it. So this is basically the section where it's like recognizing you're in a really desperate situation and forcing Fox to make reads is like... There's like one SSBM tutorial video where it's like, oh, the fox is about to jump or nair at you. What do? You can buffer a roll right as they jump so that you're invincible during the roll and they're forced to read, or once they've committed. And this loses to them like wave dashing back, which is pretty safe, but it like at least tempers their pressure and it slows the pace down of the game. And then from that, there comes a whole mix of like, oh, the fox is just dash dancing here. And I think near the end also, what's his name? Zapwad starts doing this sort of dash dance right here, right outside of your range, waiting for you to like approach, or like, and then just does like an up tilt. So in this spot, like if you were to like roll, you might just like get owned for this. Like here. But, you know, once the mix-up starts going, like, you're just holding shield here, right? You can do, like, wave dash out of shield, grab. And that's a big thing about getting really good out of shield.
Yeah, I'm definitely not super confident in my, I guess, like, wave dash. I'm not really confident in wave dashing out of shield.
Yeah, and I think that's, like... That's just it's a hard thing to get good at, because especially in like high level situations, being really good at a shield is just incredibly hard given the timing mix-ups and visual reaction points you have to use. And there's a couple resources I can link afterwards about just like learning to visually react and moving out of shield versus pressure and whatnot, that can help you. But this will tie into my second point, where it's just like you should practice, or at least when it comes to solo practice, try to make it a habit of being really smooth and comfortable out of shield in your burst options. Because that's really what ends up winning you these situations versus Fox, because it forces Fox to be incredibly precise, which slows them down, which takes away Fox. One of Fox's, I think it's honestly Fox's biggest strength in the matchup, is the fact that he can be super fast out of burst options and then boom, he cooks.
Yeah.
And to wrap it around into the game plan, I would suggest that, like, when it comes to these situations where you're just in the blender, and a lot of this happens when you're down, when you're trying to force an interaction or forced to make a read, like blender situations like this, I like that Raptor boost, is to just, the goal of the matchup is just to avoid the blender situations as much as possible, and you do it with like the up airs, or like CCs, like ASDI a bunch. But once you're after a certain percent, I think you want to just start abusing shield, because you want to avoid getting knocked off stage as much as possible while also holding down. Like here, you try going for like nair and jumping at Fox a lot and just try to abuse dash dance, but here the Fox is clearly like feeling comfortable that they can approach you. And I think, well, and they're like, oh, I don't even have to set up my frame advantage as well, like, because, oh, they're just letting me approach them because they're kind of just afraid to get hit. And if I get my one hit, that means that I can get a kill. What I think you should be doing here is just doing run-up shield to basically be like, okay, Fox, I know you're going to come in. I know you're going to start, like, wailing on my shield, wailing on me. I'm going to start execution testing you for throwing out instant aerials and like trying to be overly aggressive, and then I can shield grab you. And I think you do it at the beginning of the game as well, where like you're in a bit of a blender situation, and I think you end up reversaling the Fox by, oh yeah, this is kind of the situation that I think is also really, yeah. Was it? Oh no, it was at the very beginning. Yeah, you created a lot of space for yourself, but I feel like that was just kind of from you narrowing into the corner. But still, like, this was a really nice grab, I found. And it's just all about, at the beginning of the game, forcing either grab, stomp, and then keeping space versus Fox. And then at higher percents, I think you want to sort of create even more space versus Fox, so that like he really has to commit and overshoot to get a kill. Oh shoot. Yeah, where was this? Yeah, here, like I said, I think this is like indicative of what the game plan here is, because like the Fox is clearly looking to just get that one hit. He's not looking to grab, he's not looking to approach you. So I think and you're up too, so I think the onus is like, if you want to approach, you should do run up shield here, because if you run up shield and he like whiffs a back air in front of you, you can either knee out of shield or grab it, and at high percent, if you get that kill, that's going to tilt the hell out of the Fox. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so another thing is that on the topic of game plans, and basically trying to avoid situations where you're getting run over by Fox and taking unnecessary damage or unnecessary hits, is to reorient your mindset and game plan in general around percents. And this has honestly been one of the most important things I've personally done to improve my like game plan recognition and just staying consistent in matchups, is what's it called? Being very cognizant of percents. Okay, where did I put that? Comfy moving out of shield. Yeah. Okay. Just outpace Fox. Yeah, so another thing is, what was I saying? Oh yeah, percent-based game plans is here at the beginning. You did like a nair to read the dash back into the corner, and even though they didn't, it's like had they done the dash back into the corner, like you probably wouldn't have gotten much of anything off of it. Sadly, just because that's how the percents work, and that's the thing about Falcon is that especially at low percents, like his moves don't Sakurai angle. Like his nair doesn't Sakurai angle very nicely, and it's very easy for the Fox to spot dodge. So, okay, sorry, 1 second. Oh, 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My mom called me like 3 times mid-set this game. It was, oh yeah, that's pretty tilting. Mm-hmm. Right. Going for higher risk, higher reward when it's not as risky. Yeah. Yeah. I Yeah, it's really hard. I don't know. I can't really figure it out how to do it consistently on Battlefield. Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I'm like conditioned to not up air fielding spacies on plat just because so many times it just hits wrong and they just shield drop back air. And at like 130, I just wouldn't. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. One thing that I'm definitely trying to get out of the habit of is I know that I do this, but I still do it, is when there's like a fox in disadvantage in the corner or they're like dash dancing or something. I always try and go for like a grab, and it's just stupid. Yeah. 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 Hmm. I could have dropped down need or stomped that. Set up a stomp. Yeah. It's yeah, it's something that's like it's hard for me with Fox. It feels like I'm always like I especially just spacies in general. Is I'll play and I'll like have like my general like game plan, like information collection, and then I like have to go through like a game or a couple stocks where I'm like start remembering stuff mid set,
Yeah. I think that's kind of why moving forward in a lot of my fox analyses, I'm gonna start either categorizing foxes or just having a certain bag of tricks for like a couple of the different mix-ups. Like for foxes who are like dash dancing in the corner, I try to do, instead of run up grabbing, I do run up shield so that they feel scared and like, oh, I have to do something and instantly and protect myself, and they'll like instant nair or approach me. And then I play a mix-up off of that, and if I do get hit trying to move out of shield, then I get hit all the way back into center, and then we can reset. And then if like I'm playing against a fox who likes to, dash back a lot, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna start reading his dash back with me a lot more and like be less scared of taking space. Or maybe I'm playing against a fox who's like super aggressive and likes to up tilt after every single aerial, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to spam shield grab a lot of situations, and then when I do approach, I'm going to stagger my approach just a little bit. Having those kind of tricks is really important for those like micro situations, and I think categorizing players is like, oh, this person's aggro this type fox, or this person's like defensive like absent page style fox or whatever can help. But ultimately, we were on the topic of hitting the execution on the punish. Here, I think is what was really crucial is like you had this read. Another thing is like, or having the execution on the read is half the battle as well. You had the idea, but you did not have the execution on this, and I think that your tech chases were really good, but one thing that was lacking was executing on the reads as well. And while tech chasing is important, and it's really important that you practice it daily, it's also important that you regularly practice or solo practice your tech chase reads, even if only for 4 to 5 minutes. Practicing reads and I'm just writing this down. Okay.
How do you mean, like, practicing reads? Like, or not practicing reads, but practicing, like, the execution for reads? So it's just, like, down throwing a fox and then setting it to tech in on me?
Yeah, pretty much. This is as basically what I would do is I'd set the fox to either random DI or whatever DI, and then I'd just select a percent range. For like, okay, I want to practice making sure that I can read tech away. And also because learning to interact with how DI interacts with the tech roll as well. Like, if you have a fox that DI's down and away, and then techs in, like this will change where you have to place your knee a lot. Because I can knee a fox right here at this position. Like I had to place, even though they teched in, I couldn't just do this. I had to aim my knee right here. I have to aim my knee in a very different way, and the momentum changes everything and whatnot. And it's important to also just like, set random DI and just practice throwing the fox around and then hitting these knees. Because these will, like, you can have a read, but just, oh man, missing it feels so tragic. Like, missing it feels so tragic because you're like, oh, I had the read, but I didn't kill him. Especially if you have, like, nair to knee. Oh, yeah, that's another big one that I practice a lot, is, like, practicing nair to knee so that I don't miss it. And even if I don't get nair to knee, I need to practice, like, going nair up air. And you can see I clearly need to practice it myself, but this is what I'm saying, like, it's easy to neglect this and then miss it in tournament because you missed it here. But you did end up getting the backup, but that is one of the first part, which is just the direct execution of the punish, which is important, I think. And then what else were we gonna talk about? It was execution of the punish, edge guarding, and then it was backups. Yeah, it was backups. So, talking about backups, you hit this really nice tech chase. I think you get a read here. Oh yeah, see, that's another thing, is like, you got that read, but you just weren't executing correctly on that, and that could have been a kill there as well. Because you got this, again, you got a tech in place read as well, that could have been a double knee. And that's when I think, like, practicing getting those kill confirms off of down throw is really important, because player like Salt, player like Wizrobe, they're known for never missing that, and that's why they hit like trucks. And in reality, like, you're a lot closer to beating, like, those players, those higher level players, than it might seem. Just because you honestly miss, like, maybe, like, 2 or 3 confirms that could have been a stock and that could have been a lead straight up. Oh, yeah. This is what I was talking about. This was a beautiful platform tech chase. I was like, yo, this is sick. I need to do more of that myself.
I love doing that on Pokemon and Yoshi's.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, I think you get tech chase here. Yeah, here it is. You have this great tech chase, and you get this really nice read on it. But you know, he's out of stomp knee percent, and you try to go for like a tech chase. But I think there's a backup here that could really like continue the combo. Because what like are you really gonna get out of this tech chase again? You're gonna get another grab, right?
Can you? I was thinking. I was just watching something. I could probably back air that.
You can back air. You can F tilt.
Yeah.
But that's like F tilt. Like you kind of gotta react to that instantly. And up air you can do too. Up air, instant up air is pretty good. I like doing instant up air. But you get this. You get the stomp read, right? There's no way you can knee this consistently without hitting the tech.
Yeah. 40 is pretty hard.
Yeah, but you get a low stomp, right? You can grab this pretty easily on reaction. And here's a big thing that a lot of Falcons don't think about is tech lockout here. If the Fox tries to tech here, they're tech locked out and are guaranteed to miss tech off of this. So if you get the stomp grab at 40, force the stomp grab. There's like a very sick one where it's like Zuppy versus Wizrobe, where I think about the set a lot, where he gets this he clearly gets a stomp read. He gets a stomp read on this, and it couldn't link into stomp knee, but Wizzy recognizes that he's tech locked out, or he's gonna tech, or like he's too low of a percent, gets a grab, tech locks him out, gets a stomp knee, and kills him off of this directly. And that's how he reverse 3 stocks Zuppy.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
It's really sick. I was like, dude, this is a freaking genius for this. And this kind of is an example of learning to get backups in your combos. Because what if you can't always hit stomp knee? You know, you have to find the backup one, which is stomp grab knee or stomp raptor boost knee. This one's harder to react with, but still very, very doable. Or stomp, you know, that's where your DI mix-ups come in. Maybe you can't even stomp knee. Maybe you can only stomp back air. That's fine. But how do I react to that back air and hit confirm off of it type deal? And I think one of the biggest one is just, let me figure out my fastest moves. Like, what's my fastest move here that can actually link into something? Up air and grab.
Yeah.
And, yeah, for future reference, mainly, like, whenever you're doing VOD analysis by yourself or you're thinking about how I could have extended a combo, try thinking more about, you know, the fastest moves and how, like you can react as late as possible with, like, a grab or a fast hitting move as opposed to, like, your direct kill move. Assuming that, like, you get a weird funky hit and you can't react fast enough. Think about what your fastest option might be. Maybe you can't run all the way across and get like an up air. Maybe you can only dash just like a little bit and get like a down tilt. Like, or maybe you can only get a dash attack, but you still want to get the combo. It's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
I think there was a point in a set where I got like an up air but I couldn't like knee or grab this, so I kind of just like dash attacked, and it ended up taking the game for me. And that's the kind of like pickups that you kind of want to keep. That all the top Falcons manage to really get. Like this is one of the most beautiful stocks in Melee, in my opinion. Just because of how just he played it so well. Jab, grab in the corner. Nothing also he does here is like insanely inhuman tech chasing.
Yeah.
But it's all almost equally as guaranteed or safe. Like, this is extremely safe. This read here isn't very risky either, because if Fox Tech's in place, he's got plenty of space and frame advantage to, get out of there. And this one was pretty much guaranteed either way too, because the Fox was tech locked out, or very likely to be tech locked out. And then the stomp knee was guaranteed. He reacts with this edge guard. As you can see from his face, it was clearly a hard reaction, but he can react for sure. And then moving on to the third part of having the crazy combo game is just learning to edge guard Fox. This is one of my favorite videos, but I remember watching just a bunch of whizzy edge guards, and the biggest thing is just going out there. Oh yeah,
I tried looking like a couple of years ago, because I remember there was like some person put together like it's like 8 hours of just Mewtwo King edge guarding people.
Oh yeah, that was a 1001 Mewtwo King edge guards.
I was trying to see if there was something like that for Falcon.
There's like 17 minutes of Wizrobe edge guarding, but this one is really good since it shows you the direct situations. So this is this is Falcon dealing with side B to stage, Oh yeah, this is the Silent Spectre. I love this one. But yeah, I think the fundamental thing here is he beat him again for that side B. I noticed one thing is that when you edge guard a lot, you tend to do this kind of like Gatsu instant backer from the ledge, or like, and just keep yourself protected from it, or like from an instant up B. But you end up foregoing a lot of other edge guards by only going for that. And one thing is that you have a lot of conditioning. You conditioned him really a lot. Whether or not you meant to condition him or not, but you conditioned him to basically just double jump to ledge every single time pretty safely, or like below the stage, and he just would have gotten back for free because he knows that you're like just playing it safe and giving him a lot of the time the ledge. And so that's why this stock in particular, where you like here you're just giving him ledge, or you keep playing it safe. Which is why it was so out of left field for him to just like go to the I lost to going to ledge. And then also here, this stock that you take, it's why I think this knee up air ended up working for you so well. It's just like, he was like, okay, I'm just gonna drift to ledge, but he couldn't. You conditioned him.
Yeah. Not intentional.
Yeah, and I think it's important to also recognize that what you're conditioning your opponent with and the counter options that directly beat them when you're playing sets in VOD analysis. And I think it's what you were doing is actually pretty good for the most part. And I like that you're playing it safe in many situations, but there's like a certain point where if you want to start pulling off like really, really high wins, you gotta, there's ways to make it safe, but you kind of just gotta take the risk. Because if you let Fox back, honestly, that's more of a risk to me, because I'd rather not win neutral. I'd rather throw away my stock, or potentially put myself in a bad situation to throw away my stock and instantly kill the Fox. Or more likely to kill the Fox, a lot of the times guaranteed ways to kill the Fox, than let him back and have to play neutral with Fox on the ledge and like let him ledge dash.
Right.
Because Fox's neutral is really good. And I think, oh my god. Yeah, And this one's really good because it shows you like a lot of the reads that you can make to beat their specific options after like disadvantage. Oh, like this is Fox is jumping back, and this is how it helps to archetype people as well. Like, oh, this is a guy who likes to jump back, or this guy likes to shine stall. Oh, this one's. You can do pivot soft knee here. But yeah, there's some stuff in the cookbook for sure that you can look at. Like a lot of JoJo's edge guards are really clean, like the teeter, or wave dash teeter. So what JoJo likes to do is he'll down throw Fox and then he'll wave dash to the ledge, and then he'll teeter like this, and it catches the shine stall timing. So, or basically a lot of the stuff that Foxes do. Here actually. I'll have the CPU options. Let's just lock the CPU at like a decent % for edge guards. And I'll just have the Fox do some different things on this. And I can give this to you as a save state as well. That's another thing, is that if you have any save states that you want me to make for you, I can definitely hit them up or make them for you. Okay. So this is like just have Fox. There's number 1, and then there's like the classic Fox jump back. And then there's the Fox double jump up air. And there's the lifesavers. Actually, I want to see how this one will play out. Yeah. And then there is... this one where you go slightly above ledge. This one's really annoying to deal with. But yeah, the stuff that JoJo does is like really, really clean in this matchup, because he just does... I gotta set this to random. But this teeter knee, you can react pretty much everything. Because you can knee here, and this will beat like the knee, or the raptor, or you can react accordingly. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot.
This sets you up for an easier reaction.
Yeah. And Loki covers so many options, but again, it's like you gotta get good at this by like solo practicing the teeter. So it's kind of weird to hit, but it pretty much beats it beats a lot of the options that Foxes you were playing or were doing. Like this one in particular is the one where that I think got you a lot, was where like the Zapalod will just like go super low, but you hit this and you just you hit the teeter, instant knee, and react, and then you just do this.
I definitely think I don't look at my opponent enough when I'm edge guarding.
Yeah. There's a lot of reaction points for sure, and that's a lot of edge guarding too, is that your opponent is very limited in their options, so there's a lot that you can like very easily hit confirm react to. Okay. Yeah, like here Wizzy is reacting to just around when Fox is shine stalling, because he knows that's about when they're going to jump. Because a lot of the Foxes have the exact same shine stall time. Like they wait like half a second, almost exactly, and then they jump before their shine stall gets way too slow. And yeah, the thing you're doing, where you like ledge dash or like you instant back air from ledge, it directly just loses to the up B magnet here. But it loses to a lot of other situations here.
I think that's something I also am not great at, is I don't like kind of start. I get that like as you know more about the player that you're able to take more risks
Yeah.
based on what you think they're going to do.
Yeah.
I think with spacies in general, I do a lot of... I kind of play it safe too much, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
And that more or less makes it harder for me to, like, actually get openings and, like, call out movement.
Yeah. It makes it harder for you in general to just close out stocks, which I think is the big problem, because I don't think you have much of a problem in terms of, like, actually getting openings. I think your neutral's pretty good. I think your grabs are good, your grab setups are good, your tech chasing was pretty good. Your combo game was like you were hitting the basic stuff, you knew what to do. But I just think that closing out stocks is such a huge part of this that, like, you know, it's what you need to get better, basically. And it's like Falcon, I think, is so good at edge guarding that it's like there's so many tools that he has, especially with going off stage. Like Nun, Wizzy, and S2J. I would not actually look at S2J's edge guarding for a lot. There's some situations that you should take from him, but again, it's like when S2J's playing good, he can edge guard really well. Nun is definitely the best edge guarder for going out there, though, for sure. Yeah, like right here, like Nun is okay with going out there because he has a lot of backup plans as well. Like, sure, he can. It's like risky to go off stage, and if you miss, you might die. But you know, place yourself in a way that's safe. And there's a lot of stuff in the cookbook about that too. Just going out there, and like there's a lot of optimizations you can do, but you should start going out there, in my opinion. And it might not work for like the first little bit. I think that's important to recognize that. You know, it's very possible you could die for going for those. But I think ultimately, if your goal is to start taking sets off of players above you, players who are typically better than you, players who are maybe, you know, you really want to beat, maybe you're nervous to beat them, or maybe you want to prevent, maybe a player who's typically below you is playing really well, and so you need to really play on those margins. This is the kind of thing that like shifts the tide of the game in your favor, even when you're just getting destroyed. Because, oh my god, there was. You can also get really lucky too. Also, this was one of the things that you were doing. Like you did the knee off of this, but maybe you do the Nun edge guard off this, and you're in the next combo video. No cap. Up there. Yeah. There's like a funny ass Nun moment that I saw live at Gommel was Nun versus Sunsei. Oh my god, I was in the back watching this set. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, you can see me. This is me right here in the left. That was my first major. I was like, yo, dude. My favorite Falcon going at it versus like one of the craziest foxes in the game. And this one is like, oh my god, Sunsei's going to pull off his first big upset. You know, one of his first big upsets in a long time. Because he's gone game 5, basically, with everyone to this point. But Nun, this is freaking nuts. Like, Sunsei goes low, he's got his edge guard flowchart. Nun just goes out there, goes for the craziest double jump stomp, whiffs it, but he's okay with it since he takes it and then he up Bs and then Sensei dies. And it's
that's game 5.
Game 5 last stock, and he just like goes out there because he recognized that he botched himself. He's like, oh, I went too low with this knee, so I gotta go stomp him off stage. But then he barely missed it. But Nun was like, okay, I'm gonna just get lucky, and I'm a, oh shoot, dude, you see me over there in the back? I'm jumping. I'm like, oh shoot. Dude, I was in disbelief, bro. I was like, yo, Sensei's finally gonna do it. But then you just get unlucky sometimes. And Nun, GG's, man. that's one of Nun's biggest strengths, honestly, is edge guarding. Biggest one for sure. But yeah, when it comes to like practicing edge guarding, one of the biggest things is just learning to go out there versus like the Armada Shine training in 20XX or Uncle Punch. Where is it? Yeah, you can edge guard the Firefox training. Here, you can practice knee up air. You can practice grabbing ledge. You can practice, like, you know, get that confirm, and then you can just practice going out there with a back air, that kind of stuff. And so, if you wanted to formulate a sort of practice routine, like, I think you can very much get away with, like, when I asked SUJ at Big House, like, oh, when you're practicing for majors, how much do you practice before you enter, like, a tournament? He's like, you know, when I'm not really that active, I don't play too much, actually. And then before a tournament or, like, a major, like, say, a week or two before he goes to Genesis or Big House, he tries to play, like, an hour a day, which for a professional, I mean, Johnny is focusing on his career more with NVIDIA, but he has a full-time job at NVIDIA, and of course, I know it's like, everyone has different circumstances, but I think that a fair ask would be like 30 to 15 minutes a day of solo practice, but that needs to be kind of, you know, it's important to have it focused solo practice. So, what Bab was talking to me, or SJ was talking to me about, was like, you can get away with a lot less as long as you make it focused.
Right.
And consistent. Consistent is very important. And personally, I'd say that you don't need to do the exact same thing every single time. It's just, basically you need to adjust based on your needs. And we were talking earlier about what's important for you right now. I think one of the most important things is practicing your being comfortable out of movement and wave dashing and out of shield. Like, so I'd say maybe in your 30-minute to 15-minute practice routine, maybe instead of focusing like, like 5 to 10 minutes on like tech chasing, which you should still focus a lot on tech chasing. Like, instead of maybe putting 15 minutes into tech chasing every day, maybe you should put instead 10 minutes into tech chasing and then add maybe 5 minutes instead of just wave dashing out of shield, which is really important. Like, consistently wave dashing out of shield and getting really consistent about it, and being able to like also wave dash out of shield on the reversal training. This one's important too. Is going into reversal training and practicing wave dashing out of shield versus aerials, practicing wave dash out of shield versus moves, practicing roll timings, comfortable out of shield, etc. And that's the kind of thing I would consider is like, what am I looking to work on right now, and what is like my game plan focused around. So I'd say that, you know, you're looking to beat Spaceys primarily, you're looking to beat, you know, Falco, Fox. What are those characters? You know, you're going to be in shield a lot. So whatever you want to practice, I'd suggest honestly practicing a lot of reversal training, like practicing moving out of shield, CC, grab, that stuff. Practice moving really fast out of disadvantage, practice rolling, practice jabbing, etc. Practice your fundamental techs. And of course practice tech chasing a decent amount. Yeah, I don't think you really want to be practicing like up throw up air on like Sheik as much. It's not as important for you to get it frame perfect. Of course still practice it, but you know, I'd say cycle it based on your needs. And I guess I'll just write something out for you, because I don't necessarily have something exactly, but it's usually something like this. I do like 5 minutes of just like wave dash out of shield. 5 minutes of like doing like exercise, or like 5 to 10 minutes honestly, where I practice edge cancels and wave lands, while hitting the eggs. And then you can replace this also with like, instead of 5 minutes of 5 minutes of exercise, you can do like 5 minutes of L cancel training with the target or the barrel, and then also practice gentleman the entire time. And then, yeah, practicing gentleman is really important too, in my opinion.
I have a little bit of a hot take on gentlemen.
What's the hot take on gentlemen?
I think that they should fix it.
Yeah, I think it should be PAL fix as well. That's my opinion though. People are,
if we're gonna get rid of wobbling, we might as well get.
Yeah, we should make it
in
like
in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah. None, funnily enough, despite being the Falcon that uses gentleman the most, was like, yo, I don't like PAL. They made gentleman free. And I'm like, come on, man. How are you like one of the Falcons that can do second hit gentleman consistently like all the time? And like, you don't want it to be a little easier for you. But then again, that's just, None has some strange opinions, but there's some validity to it. Like, oh, if you make certain tech free, it's just gonna get spammed hard.
Yeah.
And
it already does get spammed hard.
Yeah, but I think not even enough, honestly. If you play Mateo or None, they spam like 20 gentlemen's like a stock. And that's really good. That's how you get Fox off of you. That's looking like, if Falcon's gentleman is honestly just Fox Shine, but for Falcon. Okay, so what's the next one? Yeah, L cancel target training, and then of course 10 minutes tech chasing. But you can cycle that with however much you need to. Oh, another thing was like, I saw you go for a lot of edge cancels, and those are hard to hit. But I really suggest practicing like your edge cancels and aiming them to be as fast as possible. Because you hit like, on one of the fountain games, you were doing this, but like if you were just marginally faster, you would have reversaled the Fox. I think there was was it at the beginning? Yeah, it was at the beginning of the game. But excuse me. Yeah, here it is. You go for this edge cancel, but it was just barely slow, where I think if you were like frame perfect, or like you were just a little bit faster, or maybe you did like stomp, edge cancel, teeter up air like this, you would have like hit the Fox and then got a grab. And so that's another thing to also learn to be comfortable with, since it's fun too, like it's a fun thing to be really good at, and also being really comfortable about it. You ever watch a Falcon who, I think, hot take, best Falcon versus Fox right now? JoJo. If you ever watch his gameplay versus Fox, you'll see that he has, like Fox players will have their burst options, but he has burst movement sequences where he'll like double jump, aerial interrupt, like fast fall through the platform grab, or like he'll get this edge cancel and then just be super fast out of it. And one thing he made a point of was you just have to be comfortable doing your burst movement options whenever the Fox is playing, so that you can basically outpace Fox in many situations. And that can take some Uncle Punch training to do, but it's definitely doable and worth going for if you ever go back into your games and see, oh man, I'm really getting owned in this spot. I need to come up with, maybe I can do a cool movement trick that I can really just get a reversal in. Just practice that situation. And I think that's is definitely worth considering. And also, it's just fun to practice edge cancel, and I think it'll also make you way sicker at the game. High key. You can put that in the combo video. I think you did like stomp into stomp edge cancel up air versus Marth. I was like, yo, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. It's clean. So yeah, I think for the most part that's what I wanted to go over. They got all over the. Yeah, that was pretty much all I wanted to go over, and I can send you the percent ranges, basically for that, and I have some notes from the VOD review that I took. So I'll send them to you. And yeah, I think if there are any more questions you have, or if you want me to make you some save states, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll hit you up about that for sure. But
cool.
If you have any more questions, do let me know.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Swag. All right, take it easy, man.
Yeah, you too.
Peace.